What's going on, everyone? So in this video, I'm going to break down a live trade that I took with stock Tesla this week. Now, before I break it down, what I want to do is I want to walk you through the pre-market aspect, what I saw before the market opened, what my game plan was, and kind of take it from there. So right now, I'm on the on-demand feature for TOS. I'm on the on-demand feature on purpose because today is Saturday and I took the trade on Monday. So I'm just going back in time so you guys kind of can't see what happened next. And then I'm going to play the clip of me live trading. Okay. So now this is Tesla on Monday. On February 10th, 2020, this is what we kind of see with Tesla. As you guys can see, Tesla has been on a huge run. It made an all-time high of $968 in a very short period of time. And Tesla has also been a stock that's been in play for the longest time, right? So a lot of people have been trading this. There's been a lot of quick plays with this, a lot of scalps, and so on. So now, first and foremost, how are we going to break this trade down? Now, the first thing that I like to do is I like to have my critical levels applied. I like to look at what levels of supply and demand, also known as support and resistance, exist. Right? So once I set that up, I start understanding the game plan a little bit better. So now, what do I have going on here? Now, a key level that I have for Tesla is one is around 783, right? That's like one key level I have. If we go to 783, you guys can see critical level of supply, meaning resistance, support, major level, and also you guys can see today pre-market major level. Now I'm going to go on an intraday time frame, a smaller time frame, let's say 15 minutes. Now, if you go on a 15-minute, you can see a little bit more candles, and you can see that whenever Tesla gets around the 783 area, it kind of has a hard time, right? Now, what I want you guys to take away from this is it's never about having one line, right? So what a lot of people do wrong is they apply a level of support or resistance. So let's say, for example, for me right now, it's 783. They would say, okay, if the stock goes below 783, I'm going to short or buy puts. No, that's not how it works, right? The idea is to establish these critical levels. So when or if the stock gets to these critical levels, we now know that we may react or we have to be aware, right? So if I have a level at, let's say, 834 for argument's sake, I'm not going to say if Tesla breaks exactly 834, I'm going to buy. My idea would be once Tesla gets to 834, or if Tesla gets to 834 again, I will watch the stock and see if buyers are interested, if there's buying pressure. If buying pressure is present, I will then take on the trade. And now that may not be exactly at 834. It might be at 835. It might be at 836, but it's going to be around that 834 level. So when you guys establish your levels, you need to keep that in mind because I've realized a lot of people, especially people that first start out, make that one common mistake. So we want to try to avoid that as much as possible, right? Now, looking at this, like I mentioned, what's going on? Tesla made a huge move up yesterday. Looking at pre-market, right? You guys can see pre-market's a little bit choppy, but let's break it down. Same level, 783. We have a pre-market high of 818. I like to establish my pre-market high levels as well, just to kind of understand, what are the pre-market highs, what are the pre-market lows, and I also like to focus on yesterday's and today's range. So as of right now, Tesla is outside of yesterday's range. This was yesterday's range, and now it's in its pre-market range, right? Now, obviously, as a buyer, right, to have the best buying opportunity, I could possibly scalp Tesla above maybe 820. And the reason I say 820 and not 817 is because, once again, one common mistake a lot of people make is if Tesla was to go to 817, they immediately think, oh, it broke the pre-market high, I should buy. No, if it breaks the pre-market high, that's where I am now watching it. Now that's where I am interested as a trader to look to take on this trade if there is a buying opportunity, because the last thing I want is I want myself to get trapped. Like, that's not what I want. I don't want to get trapped in a play, and that's what a lot of people do wrong. And then the second area is obviously 783. I want to watch, hey, if Tesla dumps around 783, what is going to happen? Am I going to buy? Am I going to short? How am I going to approach this exact trade? So these are the two levels I have set out. Now, looking at this, do I think Tesla's going to go up? Do I think Tesla's going to go down? In the pre-market, I never try to really have a side. It's not good to kind of say, hey, I think Tesla's gonna go up, I think Tesla's gonna go down. Like, that's not a good approach in my opinion. I think the way you should approach the market every morning is take it as it comes to you. Okay, cool. These are my levels. This is where the stock stands right now. If the stock does X, Y, and Z, I will do this. If the stock does ABC, this is what I will do. At that point, you're not kind of stuck on one side of trading, right? So now let's go to the live trading. Now, this is the Tesla trade, so I'm gonna break this down for you guys right now. Now, as I break this down, I want you to understand something. When I traded options, just so everyone is familiar. I traded the put options. When you're trading put options, you basically make money if the stock goes down, okay? So let's go through this right here. Now, if you guys take a look, I'm just gonna pause it for a second. If you guys take a look at price action right here, you can see Tesla opened, rallied a little bit, went to 819, right? And you can see what happened at 819. It got rejected. Let me just show you that on the chart as well. If you look at the chart as well, you guys can see that same day, right, which was on the 10th, right here. You can see when the stock opened for Tesla, it rallied, it rallied to 820-ish, right, around the pre-market high, as you guys can see, which is why I said you guys want to see strong closes, right? If you are not seeing strong closes, if you're not seeing buying pressure at those levels, you shouldn't buy. What happened here with a lot of people that day is they got trapped. The reason they got trapped is because their mindset was, okay, if Tesla breaks pre-market high, I buy. No. If Tesla breaks pre-market high, I watch. I'm now watching to see if there's still buying pressure. I'm watching to see if it's a trap or if it's not a trap, right? So I tend to watch at that point. Now, if you can see obviously a strong sell-off, a strong rejection, right? Just wanted to bring that up. So as you guys can see what happens with price action here, stock opens up, gets rejected hard. Now, just because it gets rejected hard does not mean we go out and we tell ourselves that we're gonna short or we're gonna buy puts, because what can happen with price action is something like this, right? So that's where we want to understand price action deeper and know that, hey, it can still go either way. This does not mean it's going to get rejected right off the bat, okay? So let's zoom out and let's keep going. So you can see it gets rejected and now it's going to a critical level. Now, this is what I want you guys to pay attention to. Now, this is where it gets very interesting. Now, right here, what tends to happen is, as you guys can see, Tesla gets rejected at 819, 820-ish, at the pre-market high about, right? You can see that right here too. Gets rejected at pre-market high, gets rejected at pre-market high. As it gets rejected, it is now diving into the $800 area. Now, what you have to keep in mind is that the $800 area is obviously a critical point for Tesla. It's a round number. A lot of times when a stock gets to 700, 100, 300, watching price action there, watching the tape there is very, very critical, right? So what a lot of people do wrong here is they now start chasing. They're like, oh man, Tesla was at 820, it's 800, let me buy puts or let me short. No, that's not the quick approach. That's not a good approach. Why? Because if you take a look at Tesla right here, right, you can see a very strong move down, right? Not any crazy move on volume yet. I'm sorry, there's no strong move on volume yet, so volume isn't strong. It's a straight move down, right? If there's a straight move down or up, I want to see a consolidation. I want to see a hold, right? At that point, I want to see a consolidation or hold. So I'm not going to chase at this particular point. What a lot of traders do wrong is they chase. They chase stock reverses, they lose money. That's not what we want to do, okay? So now let me zoom back out and keep playing. Now also, another thing I want you guys to watch is I want you to watch the tape, and I'm going to break that down too in this video. So now watch what happens at the $800 area, right? So we're only 16 seconds in to the first candle, this candle right here. Now watch how this reacts around 798 and how it quickly holds. Okay, now just keep watching the tape. 797, right? It's still dumping. You can see 21 seconds. I'm not a fan of touching this right now. Now, if this went around 800, consolidated, and then dumped, that's where I'd be more comfortable. Now, we're gonna pay attention to the tape a little bit here, right? Let's check that out. Now, if we take a look at the tape, now I'm I'm gonna show you guys. Now what I have going on at the tape here, this is the bid that's being printed, this is the ask that's being printed, and this is the execution price, right? This is where the price actually executed, and then we have the quantity. Now, as you guys see it printing, now this is what I want you to pay attention to. Now watch how the 798s are holding. The ask is not getting weak. It's not dumping below 798, right? It went to 798, but it's still holding. The bid's holding flat. The stock just made a huge move down, right? Not a great entry. Okay, what happened there? Right, now this is me just kind of like setting up my, so what I'm doing here is I'm setting up my active trader. So as I start setting up my active trader, it's just to kind of prepare for the option trade that I'm taking. So that's being set up. Now, once that's set up, what I also did is once I have my active trader set up for TOS, I'm going to break this down in a bit, guys. I just have that set up so I can quickly execute the trade, which you guys are going to see happen here. And now as the trade's being executed, this is what I want you to pay attention to. While I set that up, I'm going to zoom in here. Now watch how this tends to hold. Now see volume picks up, which is healthy, which is something we like. But now watch the tape. Watch what starts happening to the tape. 798s are still holding strong, right? 798 is holding strong. Now that's what I was talking about in the beginning. 800, very key level. But around 800, where do buyers kind of step in? Where do they tend to hold the stock? Is it 798? Is it 799? Or is it 800? Where do we see buyers hold? Now, what a lot of people mess up when they're scalping is immediately during their scalps, what they do wrong is they get in on the first break. Now, on that break, you want to see how the bid and ask are holding, and you want to see where the price execution is happening. Are prices being, are there more aggressive sellers? Now, if there's more aggressive sellers, they're driving the price more towards the bid, and there's size increasing, heavy size, and there's a faster tape print, right? Now, if that's not happening and it happens for a few seconds, I wouldn't enter. And that's what you guys are going to see here, right? So let's keep playing. Look at that, 798 still holding, 798.59s. 798.92, ask is going higher, ask is printing higher, and as the ask is printing higher, right, keep watching, 798, ask is going to 799, 798 on the bid, so that area is holding. Now this is where this becomes important. Now this is very important right here, right? At this point, this does not mean that the stock is going to go up. This also does not mean that the stock is going to go down. This also does not mean that the stock's going to hold. What this is reading to us right now, and this is what we as traders have to focus on, is that at this particular point, this area, there are buyers stepping in and holding up the price. Now, yes, it could mean that the stock may go up. It could mean the stock may consolidate. But the only thing we care about is we care that the fact that there are buyers sitting at that 797 area, they're holding it up. The bid is strong there. The ask isn't going lower. So we know that there's interest here. Now, immediately as traders, as someone that's looking to scalp, the moment I see those buyers step away, I will enter on the put side, meaning I will enter to make money if the stock goes down. This is what you have to have in your head. Now, looking at this from a price action perspective, you can see move down, right? It makes a nice move down, gets rejected, critical level 800. If that level can't hold, that is a quick scalp. We are in, we are out. Be it a minute, be it 2 minutes, be it 30 seconds. That's what you have to lock in your head, and that's what we are laser focused to do at this particular point, okay? Now, if we keep watching, right, 798 on the bid holding, you can see 798 still holding, 798, 798, bids adjusting, 798, 798, it's holding up and down, ask is going to 799, right? Boom, 800. See, the bid went to 800, ask went to 800. Now, this is also where a lot of people mess up when they're trying to read the tape or trying to read what's happening. They go, okay, 800 held, that means this is gonna bounce. No, not yet. Or that does not mean this is gonna bounce yet. That just means, once again, that there's some buying pressure here. There's some interest stepping in here, right? So does not mean that this is gonna go up. Yes, there's buyers holding it up. Can it go up? Absolutely. But right now, we're not going to go in and say, oh, let me go buy because 800 is holding. No, that's not the right approach, right? Now let's keep going and keep checking what's going on. Like I said, I was just setting this up, setting up the active trader while this was happening. And you can see 800 on the bid, 800 on the bid, 800's holding. But now watch 800 hold, 801 picking up, giving us a quick pop. That quick pop does not mean that this is going to go up. That quick pop does not mean it's going to go down. Now, if you noticed, see how it went to 801s and then the bid immediately dropped. Ask is dropping too, right? Not the best sign right there, right? But still, right now, there's no trade. Right now, there's no trade. Right now, there's nothing we can analyze. There's no way we can say, oh, it's going to go down, it's going to go up. Right now, there's nothing. Right now, it's just legitimately we're watching. Now, back into that range. Bid dropped again. Bid was not able to sustain 800. Bid was not able to hold that area, right? And obviously, that's looking weak. Now, the great thing is, if you guys take a look at the top here, timing. The candle is about to close. We have 6 seconds to go. Candle's about to close. Phenomenal, great. And the reason I'm not looking at SPY or market internals with this stock right now, because Tesla in the past week has been in its own lane. It's not following the market. It's not following how the market's going up, market's going down, which is why I'm not really focused on looking at SPY, ES, ADD, and all those things, right? I'm only looking at the price action for Tesla because it's just been a crazy short squeeze that's been rallying the stock up to new highs, right? Now, if you keep watching, 799s in the bid, 799, 798s, and remember, 798s, 797s, and now if you keep watching this tape, look at how the bid's a 798, the ask is a 799, and look at the direction, right, this keeps going towards. Look at the tape. It's all printing. It's all hitting the bid. Look, it's all hitting the bid. If you guys take a look, it's all hitting the bid, right? That immediately is telling us that people are stepping in and people are aggressively selling. People are aggressively selling, right? People are aggressively selling consistently over and over again, right? That's a strong move down. Look at that, 797 bid, ask is a 798, right? All the order executions are happening at 797, aggressive selling. This is where it's like, okay, cool. I'm ready to go on and take a trade. So if you guys take a look here at the bottom left, I have my active trader open. So I am looking to trade Tesla $800 puts. Once again, when you're trading puts, you make money if the stock goes down. So this is the bid for the puts. This is the ask. So people are looking to buy at 47.10. People are looking to sell at 48.35. Usually when I execute using active trader on TOS, I have this open and I just click the bid side or ask side to effectively and efficiently execute my order, right? So now let's keep going. Let's keep checking this out. Now, as you keep progressing, 797s are holding. Now, in this situation, if 797s can't hold, you guys can see I'm ready to execute my order, right? My order is right there. Now, I kind of messed up on this. I'll explain where I messed up. I could have gotten a better entry. I didn't get a better entry because I was looking at that, and what I should have done here is the price I should have tried to get in at was around 48.70-ish. 48.75. I should have hit the ask. The problem here is I had my order in for 47.40. Now, if it dumps, that's not really gonna get filled, especially if I'm trading options, okay? So that's where I kind of messed up. I could have gotten a much better entry. I could have made a lot more money on this trade, but I kind of messed up on there. Now you can see 797 is still holding right now, but it's on watch. It's on watch. 797, 797s. You can see little pop, boom, right there. Now, this is where it becomes very interesting. 797, right? Look at that immediate drop to 796, I'm sorry, right? Look at the ask, the bid drop. This is decreasing too, and now we just want to see prints. We got one print, nothing really interesting. Now we want to see some size prints kicking in. Boom, 796.18, huge dump, huge prints kicking in. That is giving us confirmation that the buyers have kind of stepped out. That's where I try to execute. Now let me show you how I try to execute my trade. So you guys can see, all you do is just click right there, whatever price you're looking to get in. And obviously I clicked at a very low price. I should have been at 48.49. I would have gotten filled, but obviously on my first order, I did not get filled. You can see no position. Right now, as it started making a bigger move down, I'm like, all right, this is looking weak. It's most likely gonna dump. It already took the break, so now I'm trying to get filled again. Now, as you guys can see, if you guys have been using TOS's platform, their order fills have been consistently terrible for the past few months. Usually when I try to hit the ask, or I try to get in midpoint, I would get filled. But recently I have not been getting filled at fair prices. And that's been very frustrating. But at this point, you can see I'm trying to get in at 49. The ask is at 50. Usually I would get filled. Lately I haven't been. For the past 2-3 months, it's been very bad. But that's because of TOS. But that's why I'm also looking to switch platforms, which I'll update you guys on shortly. But you guys can see strong dump, strong push down. You can see the bid 2 794s, and then 794s also after bid don't tend to hold, right? Trying to get in, ask is getting wider, so I didn't get the best entry here, right? And I'm gonna go back to the tape in a bit and show you guys. I just want to see you see the entry point. Now at this point, I see a strong sell-off. I should see a strong push. It may look like a quote-unquote chase, but I saw a very strong move down. So I'm like, you know what? I need to get in this. Once again, if I got in at 46, 47, I would have made a little bit more money, but obviously didn't happen. I would have made, I'd say 1,500 more about, right? So let's go back to this. You can see 49.05 not happening, cancel. So I got in at 50.10. You guys can see order execution at 50.10. Now, as my order executed, let's go back to the tape real quick and let's check out the 793, which looked very weak, right? So if you guys take a look right here, watch how at 793, right, the stock, the bid tends to hold, orders are executing, tape's printing, and then watch how it goes to 793. And once it goes to 793, it tends to hold for a bit, and then boom, same exact dump right on 793. Aggressive selling, the bid is getting hit very, very hard, and boom, the bid takes a step back. And as soon as this bid takes a step back, you can see what tends to happen. Now these are those little pops that happen when a stock is really selling off and people panic. But if you keep watching, you'll see the 793s are unable to hold. Right, let's go back to that pop. See how it popped? This is where I don't want you guys to panic. I want you to pay attention to this very closely. 793s are printing on the bid, right? See how it immediately for a few seconds goes to 794. Buyers are stepping in, holding it, and then watch. A few seconds later, boom, back to 794, boom, back below 793. Right? And boom, keep pushing. At this point, I am in the trade, right? So that's my position. And you can see a constant, consistent sell-off, a constant, consistent push down. Buyers aren't there. Look at that. Sellers are just hammering this stock down. Aggressive sellers are stepping in. I'm up about $300, $400 on the trade so far. Huge push down, huge bleed out. Got in right before that pop on the downside. And now I'm going to show you guys the exit on why I exited at a certain point, right? Now I try to execute my order at 53.10, and you guys can see, try to hit a little bit below the ask. It obviously did not execute. Should have maybe hit 52s, would have maybe gotten filled. But like I said, TOS has been very laggy. Prior to 3 months ago, when they made commissions free, I used to get great fills. Now getting great fills is very, very hard, which is obviously digging into profits, which is also why, like I mentioned, probably going to switch over to another platform. As you guys can see, trying to execute, order's not going through, had to cancel it a few times. And then I'm like, you know what? It's making a huge move down. Let me just hit 52s and get out. The reason I'm hitting 52s and getting out and not trying to chase 54, 55 is number one, I'm not comfortable with TOS's platform, which is why my size was 5 contracts instead of 20 or instead of 30 contracts, right? That's number one. Number two is when a stock pops down this fast, especially when you're trading options, obviously it's going to take a break. Obviously it's going to start trying to recover. That's number one. Number two is Tesla is making $2, $3, $4 pops up and down. Number three, Tesla is at 786. It's close to that 783 level. If you guys remember in the beginning of the video, it's close to that 783 level. So I don't want to I don't want to hold this around 783. I want to maybe get in if it breaks that 780-ish level again. That's why I'm like, you know what? I need to take profit off. And I'll recap this trade too in a bit. Now, as you guys can see, on the trade up about $1,000. Now, I want to bring something up. Even though I'm up about $1,000 on this trade, I don't consider this. I consider it a good trade by the charts and by the entries and exits, but by my executions, I don't consider this a good trade. My execution here, that was at $50, should have been around 46 to 47, and my exit price, which was at 52, should have been around maybe 54, 55, because that's what the tape was printing. That's what the options were going for at that point. With that being said, that's an $8 move, which is about $4 grand, right? So my profit here in reality should have been $4 grand based on when I was looking to enter, based on when I was looking to exit. That's what my profit should have been. I walked out with $1,000, cool, whatever. I'll take the blame. I'm not gonna put it on a platform, but TOS's platform execution has been very, very, very slow. A lot of times, especially when you're trading options, it's like very hard to get filled at key levels, or when you're trying to even hit the ask. So in reality, this should have been a $4,000 trade. Should have walked out with making $4 grand. Now, another question people have is how much went into this trade, right? This trade had about $25,000 in it, which is why I'm not gonna say it's a great trade. If I'm putting $25,000 into an option trade, me making $1,000, not really great. I mean, that's the bottom line. I'm not happy with that. Now, if I put in 25,000, I made 4 or maybe 5 grand. At that point, a 10-15% move would have been like, okay, this is actually a lot better, especially the fact that it's happening in a minute to 2 minutes. So the only thing that kind of took that away was my order executions, which is why I've mentioned a million times that you guys want to have phenomenal order executions, right? If you get better at executing orders, right? And let's just say that the platform is phenomenal. The platform is executing very, very well. You need to be quick to know when you're preparing for a trade, when you're gonna get in, and when you're gonna get out. And it has to be done very quickly. And the quicker it is, right, with the options, the more money you're gonna make, or the more money you're gonna save yourself from losing. So that's very important to understand. Okay, so let's keep going. And now look right at 783. This is where the tape even becomes more interesting. It goes to 783 about, and then it tends to hold. And at this point, I'm out of my position. You guys can see, which is why it's very important to have your critical levels established. Also knowing when to get in, knowing when to get out. Because now what happens to some people at this particular point is they miss out on this move, they miss out on this move, and they start chasing. And they end up buying right here, and then Tesla tends to make a $7, $8 move up, and your premium gets destroyed. Not with just Tesla, any option trade you guys take. So it's very, very, very important for you to keep in mind that, hey, if I see something just bleeding out, I don't want to chase it. I want to wait for this consolidation, right? And now if the fact that I did my pre-market homework, I created my critical levels, I understood where the buyers would step in, where the sellers would step in, that allowed me from not maybe entering here. That allowed me from exiting here, right? That allowed me from not buying at this point, because this is the same 783 level that I went over in the pre-market, and you guys can see that same level actually held, right? Now, does this mean that the stock is gonna bounce? No, this could mean stock may bounce. It could mean the stock's going to consolidate, but an ideal trade here would to wait for consolidation, maybe a continuation if it happens, right? And that is the trade. And then you can just see price action continuing, all right? Once again, just to recap everything with this trade, just to give you guys an idea, the trade was great. I liked my entries and exits. The only thing I kind of didn't like is I did not like how my order execution went through. TOS didn't fill me 2-3 times. This once again has happened multiple times. But if you guys are looking to scalp options, right, this is the mindset that you guys have to have. It has to be super quick. You have to know what you're looking for. You have to see, is the tape printing what I needed to print? Is it giving me confidence? And there needs to be no hesitation, like no hesitation at all. It just needs to be like in, out, right? And obviously, like I said, this was a bigger trade where, you know, I'm putting in about 25 grand. And that's because obviously Tesla's premiums were jacked up. But not every option that you guys trade are going to have crazy expensive premiums. Each contract for this is going for $4,900, right? For maybe Apple, it's going for 200, maybe 2,000, right? Maybe 400, maybe 500, or whatever the case is. So it's like you don't have to trade these expensive premiums, and you don't need $25,000 of capital to take on certain trades. If you don't have that capital, avoid trading maybe Tesla and go trade something else. So that's my trade recap on a live trade. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.